Hi, my name is Peter. I made over $4.6 million on Amazon KDP, and it took me about 3 years to hit $30,000 a month with my publishing business consistently. In the next couple of minutes, I will explain to you in detail why I don't think it's hard to achieve numbers like 10, 30, or even 50K a month, at least not in the sense that most people think about it. I also want to lay out a plan to you and some requirements I think we want to place to achieve these numbers. I know this is a crazy title, but it would be a bit disingenuous for me to sit here and say that it's hard to achieve $30,000 a month when I've achieved it. And my student, Ian, he's currently at $25,000 a month. So I believe in a couple of months, he will also have crossed 30K a month. Andre, I'm confident in a couple of months, he's currently making around 16K a month. I believe that he will cross 30K a month in a couple of months. And Tim, who has been editing all my videos inside Driven Publishers Elite and also on the YouTube channel and Skool, he hasn't even started publishing his first book yet, but I believe that he will also cross $30,000 a month. So let some time elapse and then you come back to me and we can discuss if these three people have achieved the results. I am confident they will have. So that's why I'm not saying that $30,000 a month is hard. If you go back 5 years from now, then $10,000 a month, it seemed like this impossible quest to achieve. But if we sit here in 2025, we can see that $10,000 a month, that's normal, or at least a lot of publishers have achieved it. Now, $100,000 a month today, that seems a bit out of reach, but I believe if we fast forward 5 years from now, so we're in 2030, then I believe that $100,000 a month will be what $10,000 a month is today. Because we have so many tools, we have AI now that can help us enhance the content. So not only speed things up, but also make things better. We have access to knowledge and tools that I definitely didn't have when I got started. So we have all these advantages today that make things easier for us. Now, one thing I want to discuss is that I believe that KDP or book publishing, it's a numbers game. So that's the first thing we want to realize, that if we want to hit $30,000 a month, then we must start with the end. Okay, this is where we want to go. Then what is required from us, because there is some sort of input that we need to put in to achieve this. So that is where I would start. I would start with the math. So for example, if we are making $100 per book, then we need 300 books to make $30,000 a month. If we're making $500 per book per month, then we would need 60 books to make $30,000 a month. And if we're making $200 a month per book, then we would need 150. So there are many different paths. You can go more in terms of quantity. You can go more in terms of really putting a lot of effort to ensure that the books you create are high earners. So for example, if we take Andre, who I mentioned earlier in the video, is currently making around 16K a month. He is making on average more than $500 a month per book. So he has a consistently high average per month per book published. So there are many different ways to get there. I asked the DP AI coach. For those of you who are inside Driven Publishers Elite, you will have access to this. So I definitely advise you, if you have access to this, to simply go through and run your problems, whatever it is, through this DP AI coach, because it will help you to get a plan if that's what you want, and it will help you to see the math. So here we see medium content domination. That's a course inside DP. So here he says $200 a month, high performance, $1,000 to $3,000 a month. Okay, so 150 average performance, $200 a month, or a mix. So 30 high performance at 1,000, that would also hit. So the number one thing we need to understand before we can get to $30,000 a month is that we must believe 100% that it is possible. Because the book industry, it's a $20 billion industry in the US alone. So it would be very, very hard and also disingenuous for me to say that it's not possible to hit $30,000 a month. For whatever reason, maybe you're sitting there and you're saying, it's not possible for me to make $30,000 a month right now or in a couple of years for whatever reason, that's okay. But what you cannot say is you cannot say that it's not possible. And maybe you have certain reasons that might sound good to you of why you can't achieve it. But then I would ask myself, is there anyone that with my circumstances would be able to reach $30,000 a month? Then still, you cannot say it's not possible. The only thing you can say, it's not possible for me for whatever excuse. I know it's hard. This video is not for everyone. I think we mentioned in an earlier video that we will stop making videos for the masses. We will make videos for a select few. So I don't expect this video to be appreciated by everyone. In fact, that's not the goal. So if you're watching this video, then let's have a serious conversation. This is an unscripted video, by the way. I'm imagining that you and me, we're sitting and talking one-on-one, because I've talked with a lot of publishers, so I see the common problems, the current challenges that they go through, and I see what is stopping them from growing. And number one is they don't have a clear plan. Some of them, they don't have a clear goal to begin with. Perhaps they say something vague, I want to quit my job. What is that in terms of numbers? Okay, what is your plan to achieve it? You have those two things, you're ahead of 90% of publishers. And you have the belief as well. So the belief is also very crucial. But you have those three things, the belief, the goal, and the plan, then I believe you're halfway there. So anyways, the DPAI coach, he takes some knowledge from the courses we have inside here, and he gives this advice to use Andre's niche research sheet. So that's another thing. The numbers are very transparent on Amazon. So if you can't say that if you say it's impossible to make $1,000 a month from a book, then simply go to Amazon, look at all the examples. We have these tools. We have Helium 10, we got BookBeam, we have Kindle Sales Calculator, which is a free tool that you can use on Kindlepreneur's website and just enter in the sales rank of the book. And then you will see how many books are selling per day, how many copies of that book. So let's say it's making 5 sales a day. Then you take that times the royalty. Let's say the royalty per book sold is $5. That would be $25 per day. And you take that times 30 days, which is what a month is. Then we have $750. So then if we're making that much, if we can achieve that BSR, whatever that is, then you take that, divide by 750, then you need 40 books to achieve the goal of $30,000 a month. So here, the DP AI coach, I know a lot of people inside DP, they're having great discussions, and it's really helping them to get instant answers to how they can achieve their goals. And I answered, yes, give me the 6 to 12 month plan. And it gave me a step-by-step plan here. So I think this is very beneficial in terms of getting a clear direction, because sometimes you might not be able to access a high-level publisher who can sit and make the plan with you. But if you have a tool like this, you can literally make the plan yourself. So if you're inside DP and you want to make a plan for yourself, you can use the DP AI coach for that. Now, there might be something that stands in your way to achieving that goal that you have in your mind. Perhaps it's getting enough reviews. Perhaps your book is not making enough per month. So let's say you're averaging $20 or $30 per book you publish per month. Then the issue is definitely a knowledge problem. You need to, as fast as possible, learn how to produce books that at least make $100 a month in profit. So whatever it is, aim to find the bottleneck. We will discuss that later. But you have to realize that if your books aren't selling the way you expected or the way you would have hoped, then there is often a reason for it. And I'll discuss that soon. But let's move on. We've covered belief. That's the number one thing. And the math, we've covered that as well. So you need to have the math laid out so you know exactly the input you need. And you also need the belief that it is possible. So again, one more time, once you have the goal, you have the plan, and you have the belief, I believe you're at least halfway there. So I did a free goal setting workshop. I know that was appreciated by a lot of people. It's free here on YouTube. So simply go through that process if you haven't already. That's a great start. Now let's go over the next thing that I believe is a requirement to make $30,000 a month, and that is long-term thinking. What's the rush? What is the rush? If you want to make money in 2 months, 3 months, then my strongest advice is to get a job. That's the best way to make money right now, is to simply have a job, because with the job, you get paid the same month or the month after. Was such a long time that I had a job. So I don't really know, but I think they pay usually at the end of every month is when they pay for the work you've done that month. So you get paid for the work. You can see, okay, I put in 20 days. I'm going to get paid after those 20 days. Book publishing is not like that. KDP publishing, KDP pays 60 days after. That's the first thing to realize. So the results, that the sales you're making today, they will come in 60 days. I believe on Ingram Spark, it might even be 90 days. So you need an entirely different mindset if you want to get great results with publishing. You can't think about the now. You have to think like a farmer. You're planting the seed now, and that seed will grow into a tree, and that tree will produce fruit, and that fruit will give you food for months, for years if you do it right. So that's how I would think. I would also ask myself, what is the determining factor for me achieving the results I want to achieve? What's the number one determining factor? What's the number one determining factor that would lead to a successful surgery by a surgeon? What is the number one factor that would allow a pilot to fly from Los Angeles to New York without crashing? Don't think about the tools. Don't think about the plane. Everything is working. Just think about the individual person. Think about the surgeon. Think about the pilot. And now I want you to answer the question, what is the number one factor that would allow a publisher to make whatever that publisher wants to make per month? Hopefully you answered knowledge, the skills of that individual person. You wouldn't expect an uneducated pilot to be able to fly a plane without crashing. You wouldn't expect an uneducated person to do a surgery successfully. Then why would you expect a publisher to produce great results if that publisher has no knowledge, has no skills? Then that is the number one determining factor that will allow you to get results. People are willing to invest $100,000, go into debt for a university degree that might not pay them 4 or 5 years from now, and might not even be able to get them the job that they studying for. Yet when it comes to self-education in terms of a practical skill set, which is what publishing is, and for some reason people are very hesitant to invest in themselves. And I want to show you, because this is what I did in a recent call with someone, and she said it was an eye-opener for her. So I want you to have that eye-opening experience as well, if you haven't already have it. So this is Empire Flippers. You can sell and buy KDP businesses. And we can see here there are a couple of businesses listed, and they usually have a multiple of 35 or more. So here we can see 35x multiple monthly profit. So you take the monthly profit, you take it times 38, and you will get this number. Same here, 35. So the KDP book publishing businesses that we're creating, they have value. So that is why I say think long term. Because even if you're not able to take out money right now and live on that money, when you are doing book publishing and your monthly profit is going up, even though the cash in your bank account is not going up, you're actually building something of value, which you can then later, if you want to, exchange for cash. Does that make sense? So let's say you were to invest $10,000 in self-education or book publishing, then how much money must you make to make a return on investment in investing in yourself? which we determined the skills, the knowledge that you have as a publisher is the number one determining factor that will determine the results you have or get. Of course, I assume that you're an action taker. Of course, I assume that you have a plan, you have the belief, but take all that aside. Besides that, what is the number one factor? It is your skills as a publisher. So let's divide that by 35, which is the monthly multiple. You need to be able to make $285 per month more in monthly profit. So let's say you were to invest $10,000 a month. You're sitting with that decision. I don't have something currently, probably DP in a couple of months. It might be over $10,000 a month, but it's not right now. But anyway, I would ask myself, do I expect to make more than $285 a month by investing in myself? I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in myself, probably over $100,000. So again, it would be disingenuous for me to not disclose this, to not share this with you, because this is the reason why I'm able to get these results. December, 95K, net 64K. January, so you can see that it's not just happening 1 month in December when Christmas is. You can see this is January, 66, net 41 after ad spend. I'm telling you, this is the reason, because I invest in myself, because I constantly seek knowledge. I constantly aim to surround myself with other publishers who have their finger on the pulse, who knows what is working right now, who is getting more results or better results in certain areas than me. That's all it is. Okay, let's go over to the next thing, an ability to let your ego take a hit, non-attachment. Now, I'm not talking about not having pride in your work, but I am talking about the ability to not get attached to work that you've produced and to think that just because you think it's a good idea, the market, the target audience, the people who will be paying for that book thinks it's a great idea. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is, what do the people that are buying our books think? I can tell you a story. I was doing this brand. I will even disclose the brand. I was doing it in the exercise niche. It was a couple of years ago. I planned out this series of books. I'm a licensed personal trainer. I believe that I have the knowledge. I believe that I know exactly what the people need. But what I didn't realize is, it doesn't matter what the people need. What matters is what they want. So let's imagine I did a 50-day plan instead of a 28-day plan, or I scheduled the exercises or the workouts to be 1 hour long instead of 10 minutes. Objectively, it looks better. It's more comprehensive with 50 days instead of 28-day plan, and it's more realistic to achieve a great results in 1 hour workout sessions than 10-minute workout sessions. But people don't care. And sometimes it's better that they do something than nothing. And 10 minutes a day with everything that's going on, that's more manageable for people. So they find that more realistic for themselves, which is the only thing that matters. And a 28-day plan, they don't want to think about 50 days. They want the results now. The beach is approaching. So we have to be able to put our own knowledge, even if we're an expert and we're creating books, we have to be able to say, okay, this is not what the people want. I have to adjust. But of course, we can't adjust to everyone. So this video, for example, it will get criticism from some people. I estimate that most people who will criticize this video will not be the ones that will join DP, for example. They will not be the ones that I would want in my circle, that I would want close to me. So really, it doesn't matter if they criticize this video, because the people who would appreciate a video like this, the people who are like me, they will like this video even more. We want to be able to see things from other people's perspective. So I received a feedback. I can tell you how it started. So I went through this course, and the course talked about that you want to look away a little bit here and there, because if you keep staring at the camera like this, people are going to comment that you have this psycho stares. So what I do is I implement looking away from time to time from the camera. Now, also, it's a personality thing, I think, because when I'm thinking, I usually take notes by literally, I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm putting it in a box in my mind or what it is. But in essence, that was something I received criticism for, that I looked away. I've received criticism for the scripts I've created. And those kind of things, they're actually good, even though they hurt in the moment. Even though when you're sitting there and you're doing your work, you're doing your book, and you're thinking, who are you to criticize me? I put in 20, 30 hours. I learned this, I know this. And we start to, how do you say it? We start to justify why our action is the best. But the truth is that there might be something to the feedback. There might be something we're not seeing. So for example, I watched that particular video that got that comment, and I saw what that person meant. It looks like I'm not paying attention. So I was overdoing it. So there is a balance in things. And that's the great thing about feedback. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind as well is, who are you getting the feedback from? If you're getting feedback from someone, let's say it's related to your book, who is currently not at the level that you are or where you want to be, then you can take that feedback with a grain of salt. But I would still take it in, and I would still see, okay, is there something here that is actually valuable? And if it is, can I implement it? And when I implement it, will my product be better because of it? But of course, different opinions have different weight. So that's the next thing. You want to be able to think for yourself. When I was on my journey, people were saying $10,000 a month, that is the limit. And I went away for 6 months, and my results in terms of publishing, it cut in half. So I thought, okay, I will never make this mistake myself again. I got punished for it. So I will commit to publishing. I will stay with publishing, and I will make it work. And I know that other current publishing experts, they were being told that if you are still doing publishing 4 years from now, you would have failed as a person. They were saying things like $10,000 a month is the limit, and all these things. And they say to me, I wish I wouldn't have listened to that. When I got away, when I got the shiny object syndrome, when I thought, okay, if I'm making $5K a month from publishing and I'm making $5K a month from affiliate marketing, that is $10,000 a month, which was my goal. That was incorrect thinking. What I should have done is, even if I faced a challenge with my publishing business, I should have simply stick with publishing and realized that the challenge I'm facing, someone else will have faced that challenge and they will have solved it. And they most likely will have documented how they solved it as well. So think for yourself, consume information, now filter it through the results. That's how I would do it. I don't want to show you the results every intro video, but it is helping, especially new people who might not be aware of the results, because a lot of people, at least me, when I'm watching a video, I like when someone says, I've achieved this, because it calms down my mind. And I know that, okay, I don't have to think, why should I listen to this person? So that's the only reason I'm doing it. I'm not saying results because I like saying it. I'm tired of saying it at this point, but I know it can help people to calm down, to put their guard down, and to actually listen. Because I believe that the information that I'm sharing in these videos, they are according to truth, at least how I see things. And the way I see things have proven to produce results. So it does make sense that if I can help someone by transferring what's inside my mind to your mind, then I believe I'm doing something good. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is curating your environment. What does this mean? We talked about it a little bit, but if you surround yourself with 5 people who say that you can't make or you can't scale a KDP business, then are those 5 people the best environment for you achieving, let's say, $30,000 a month? Probably not. So remember what I started this video with. It would be disingenuous for me to say that making $30,000 a month is hard. When I've achieved it, when I see these other people that are inside Driven Publishers Elite approaching it, I'm 100% confident myself that they will achieve it. That is who I want to be surrounded with. I want someone to say to me, Peter, I think you're playing too small. I think that the goals that you have, I would be embarrassed if I had those goals. That's personally what I like to be surrounded with, because it helps me grow. If you're the smartest person in the room, change your room. Get around people who would push you who will pull you to higher standards. Next, this will be a short point, but commit for at least 1 year. If you want to scale your publishing business, don't make any judgment before 1 year has passed. Don't stop. Don't take a pause for 6 months like I did. Simply continue for at least a year, and then you can make a conclusion. Okay, this doesn't work. I tried everything. I went through all the things, all the steps. I did exactly what these top experts, these top publishers said I was going to do, and I still didn't get the results. Okay, what I would do personally is I would send them my work, and I would have them criticize or have them show what they're seeing, because maybe you didn't do everything. Maybe you didn't follow the steps exactly. Or maybe you think something is good, but the market doesn't think it's good. Or the top publishing expert that you're looking up to, or that you think has the knowledge, maybe he wouldn't approve of the work. So whatever it is, there is an answer. And I would look for that answer. And if, let's say, you come to the conclusion, even after sending the work, that, okay, I did everything perfectly. They say I did everything perfectly. There's no reason why this didn't take off other than publishing doesn't work, or I had really bad luck. Then yeah, then I would say, okay, feel free to quit. But before that, I would commit for at least 1 year. Let me briefly show you what I see. So I see that most publishers, they want to get to here, and they start here. And let's go over the fastest path between these two. It's a straight line. But what happens is people start, and then they do like I did after 6 months. They stop, and what happens? Their income is cut in half. And some people, they keep going down, and they stop for way too long. And then when they try to start again, it's a very, very slow start. It's a very slow start. But if you simply continue, and you continue to get feedback, you continue to publish, you continue to go on the path, and you learn from every single book you publish, and you think, okay, what did I do right? What could I have done better? Then eventually I believe you will get there. But what most people's path look like is they start here, and they start, and they go back, and they go like this, and then they go here, and it's all over the place. And there's no wonder if you're going like this that you won't hit this point. The next thing I want to discuss is non-binary thinking. So we have black and white thinking. Then we have thinking that takes into consideration nuances, certain things. For example, let's say you see a bad cover for a book that is selling very well. And then you make the conclusion, book covers must not matter because this book is selling well despite having a bad book cover. That's one conclusion you can make. But what I would argue is there isn't an elite publisher who has entered that niche yet. So when they do, you look at that book again, and you will probably see that the sales have been overtaken by this new book that has, in fact, a better book cover. So don't make the wrong conclusions. Think of the nuances, that maybe you're doing everything right in terms of selecting the niche, but perhaps you're not giving the readers a reason to choose your book. Or perhaps you are selecting the right niche. You are giving the readers a reason to buy your book, but the book cover is unclear, or perhaps the image that you're showing on your book cover isn't connecting with the people, or perhaps your description is completely off in terms of relating to the target audience. So whatever the reason is, or I've seen examples where people have 1-2 reviews, and the competing books, they have 100 reviews, and they question, why is my book not selling? Because people do look at social proof when they select the book. That's why. You have to think about all these nuances. You can't think in one way, okay, I was told this, and I was told that if I do this, and this, then I was guaranteed success. It doesn't work like that. You have to take full 100% responsibility for your own results. And you have to realize that, okay, maybe I didn't do everything correct. Maybe I missed this small little detail that impacted the results in a big way. So that's why you want to do things in sequence. You first do the niche, for example. You select the topic for your book. Then you think, okay, how can I make a superior title? How can I do a cover that's good, that would make people click on it, and then read the description to learn more about my book, etc. I think you get the point. I have so many videos on this, so it doesn't make sense to continue to expand on it. Let's go over the next thing, which I think is a requirement to hit $30,000 a month, a student mindset. So one quote that I heard, I think it was 2015 or 2014, 1 hour per day of study will put you at the top of your field within 3 years. And it continues. Within 5 years, you'll be a national authority. This is a quote by Brian Tracy. You do what you want. I'm not telling you what you want to do, but I'm telling you this is the reason why I have the results that I have. And why the people who I mentioned, I and Andre and Tim will also have that. Again, Tim has edited all my videos, including the videos inside DP. So not just my videos, but videos from all the other experts that have added courses there. And I saw his first book cover that he made, and I've always said, don't make a book cover yourself. But I've gone back on that since, because his book cover that he made with the help of AI, which he showed in the Barcelona event for everyone who attended there, and those recordings are also inside DP, he was able to make a book cover that was better than the book cover that my designer would have made. And she's been designing for 10 plus years. How was he able to do that? Because he had all this knowledge of how to make a great book cover. Because he had studied all the videos in details. You believe what you want to believe, but this is what I believe is the determining factor. And one fascinating thing for me, personally, this last year has been that I think it was 2-3 years ago, I was looking at the German market and I was seeing all this success that they were having. The books were making a lot of money. And I was thinking, what are they doing in Germany? I don't understand. But now I have Andre, he's a German publisher. I have Tim, I have other German publishers inside DP. So now I know what they're doing. And then I saw some other books in the international market and I was thinking, how are they doing this? What are they doing? And then I got the knowledge from another publishing expert. So I have the student mindset. In every group call, we've had, I believe, over 50 hours of group calls that are all recorded inside DP now. In every single one of those group calls, I get a new insight. I get to see, okay, this is how they do it, or this is how I can do it. So simply listening to other people talking about publishing, and that's one fascinating thing, is there are so many different ways to make $30,000 a month. There's not just one way. People are making it with fiction, people are making it with non-fiction, people are making it with low content, with medium content, high content. People are making it by having a brand, people are making it without having a brand. So there are all these different approaches. So eventually, in the beginning, you want to follow a step-by-step process, but eventually you will develop your own style. And I believe that will be the strength, because you will see niches, you will see an approach. Maybe you've read something in a book that you can implement. Maybe you've seen something from another industry that you can implement, or maybe you've spotted something in a different niche that you can apply to your niche. So you will see things differently. And I believe that will be your biggest strength and your biggest advantage in terms of reaching $30,000 a month. Let's go to the next one. So the requirements are either time and or money. To hit $30,000 a month, yes, you will either need time. So you work in the business yourself and you produce the results, you put in the input, or you use money, meaning that you pay someone else to create the input, which then produces the output. So there's no way of getting around this. I don't think I need to expand on it. I believe you're smart enough to realize this. Next thing is flexibility. I think that also is self-explanatory, but in my mind, we want to be attached to the outcome. The outcome, let's say it's $30,000 a month. We don't want to change that. That is our goal. But what we can change is the plan, the way we get there. So for example, perhaps I was thinking about creating a brand in this niche, but I'll produce 10 books and it doesn't work. Then I can consider pivoting. I should at least consider pivoting the angle or the covers or making adjustments to the descriptions. I perhaps should ask for feedback, so I know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So there are all these different things that will change. So don't hard code your plan too early. Be willing to adapt, be willing to be flexible. And I believe that's one requirement. Next thing is find the bottleneck. So to hit $30,000 a month, if you're currently making, let's say $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month, ask yourself, why am I not making $30,000 a month? If that is your goal. And you continue to ask the question, why? Why? Because I can't get enough reviews. Why can't I get enough reviews? Because I'm using this method which only allows me to get these amount of reviews or whatever it is. Okay, then perhaps the solution becomes find another way of getting reviews. In the Barcelona event, Andre, he shared the method he's using to, in essence, get unlimited reviews. The only bottleneck in that case would be the amount of money that he has to invest. But he has the method that allows him to get reviews in a scalable way. Of course, having an email list, that's also an alternative way to getting reviews. But whatever the challenge is, maybe you don't have the time. Okay, then how do you get more time? What can you do in your personal life to get more time? Can you have someone else do the cleaning, the dishes? Can you buy an automatic lawnmower or something like that? What can you do to get more time? And then once you've answered that question, then you ask yourself, okay, what can I do that is the highest leverage use of my time? And then just let someone else do the rest. So the formatting, the tasks that I can pay someone $5 an hour to do, whatever the bottleneck, simply find it. So again, the ball, imagine a ball. If you pour out water, the bottleneck is what's stopping the flow of the water. So in your business, there is something that is stopping you from growing, and you want to focus on solving. The last thing is, of course, we need to take action. None of this matters. None of the things that we have discussed in this video matters unless you take action. That's it.